getting
Great. If everyone can see that,
there.
so just I'm not going to spend too much time on these slides, so we leave time for questions. But very quickly, the gig economy was already well here, even in 2015. So in the US, about a third of the workforce was engaged in some kind of freelance work in 2015, and they're projecting, by 2020, 2025 for that to actually cross, 50%. McKinsey did a research of all of the developed markets, EU economies, as well as the US, and found that 20 to 30% of the workforces in these countries were also engaged in some kind of independent work. One third of all management consultants in the UK are freelance. And so these numbers are big, so globally, this has been a phenomenon for the last decade. And we actually saw a huge growth in the gig economy post the 2008 financial crisis. And typically, black swan events have a tendency, to accelerate some of these underlying trends we see. And when you ask companies as well, a lot of them are planning to have gig workers, non-traditional workers, be a sizable part of their workforces in the coming years. And so, at least some research that we did showed that about 2/3 of organizations are expecting that 1/3 or 30% of their workforces will be non-traditional in the next 5 years. And these are substantial numbers, and this was pre-COVID, so we'll see what the impact post-COVID is. And I think some of the changes that we've seen take place in the last 3 or 4 years is that traditionally, freelancing was thought to be something that was, very much a solution for tech professionals, for creative professionals, for probably small non-strategic projects. So you had platforms like freelancer.com or a Fiverr where you could get a logo designed for $5. That's how the name Fiverr came. Or a TaskRabbit, where you could, get small gigs, odds and ends, and get your work done. But very non-strategic, basic work with low earning potential. So really didn't cater to professionals and to the white collar space. I think that has been a big change we've seen in the last 4 or 5 years, where freelancing actually has become very mainstream. And now we find that, you find freelancers in all the core skill areas, or all the core industries and functions that we are familiar with, whether it's strategy, marketing, finance, HR, technology. And now, freelancers and freelancing is becoming an integral part of how companies think about how they will get work done. And as a result, you have new platforms like Flexing It and several others who have come to organize, the space. And these are really high quality professionals who are deciding that this is the choice I'm making, that I want to work on my own. I want to take on projects, consult with a large number of companies through the course of the next few years. And they're building their own brand and their portfolio of work. So these are not, fungible resources that you can, or warm bodies that you throw, but these are genuinely independent professionals who are being pulled in for their skills and expertise to add value in a defined, time and space for an organization. And I know you asked the question of what's happening in India. And while we are a few years behind what we see happening in the US and in Europe, it's changing very rapidly. Already, 25% of freelancers globally are from India. On global platforms, actually, that number is 40% plus of freelancers that are contributing to projects are actually from India.
25%? 25% of freelancers worldwide are Indians?
Yes. It's a lot. I mean, right now they're mostly on the tech and the creative side, but that's rapidly changing as, platforms like us come to give even mainstream professionals, management professionals, access to freelance opportunities. There are estimates that say that in the next 5 years, the gig economy in India would be like $30 billion worth. So that's substantial. So I think it's very much here, even, pre-COVID. Based on our experience over the last 5 years, we are seeing some segments emerge of who the gig workers or white collar gig workers are in India. I'll quickly talk through that. I mean, so there's a lot of management consultants who, after spending 10, 12 years in a Big Four or a McKinsey, like I did, decide that they want to go on their own. And they start working independently. So we see that a lot. Our biggest segment is what we call the corporate freelancers. And these are people who have worked, in large corporates for 10, 15 plus years, in core functions, built brands, built P&Ls, would, could be in, from an HUL, could be from a Maruti or Tata Steel, and have now decided they want to, work independently, for a while. Of course, we have young parents, both men and women, who need flexibility for a few years. And so, they decide to, become gig workers. We also see entrepreneurs. Because a lot of, and we've seen this big startup ecosystem develop over the last 8-10 years in India, and I think what that has also led to is more startup or entrepreneur freelancers, because in the early stages of building a business, you need to pay the bills. Everyone may not have VC funding, and so you do need to earn some money to kind of pay the rent and the bills. And so we find a lot of early startup entrepreneurs do some projects on the side or in certain parts of the year, to be able to earn some money, to be able to sustain while the business scales. We already talked about the tech freelancers, and we find that in many of the newer age skills like product and data science and UI UX, professionals are preferring, and millennials are preferring, to freelance versus join companies, because they feel they'll get to do more exciting work, and they learn more because of the variety. Of course, we have moonlighters, so people who feel I have time in my job doesn't completely utilize my time, so I can learn some skills or earn some extra money over the weekend or after that. And I think another very important segment that we've seen is the I wouldn't call them retired professionals, but the semi-retired professionals. So people in their 50s, even who've got like 20-30 years of very high quality work and energy left in them, but may not want to work full time anymore. And so they are increasingly turning to working with, whether it's startups, whether it's NGOs or consulting firms, and coming on board as advisors, coming on board as consultants, for short durations. So I think we're seeing companies of, like people of all types turning to freelance, and it's a choice some people make for a few years before they decide what they want to do next. But it's also a choice that some people are making now for the rest of their career. So they're deciding that I want to work independently now for whatever productive life I have left. I just also wanted to highlight, this theme, because I feel very strongly about this. We all know women's labor force participation in India is falling. So over the last decade, the number of working age women in India that are actually working fell to 24%. And the number is, and this is the worst, except for certain African countries. And so clearly not a place we want to be. China in comparison is 60%. So huge gap. And we find that the data actually shows that it's worse in urban areas. It's worse with more educated and richer households. So people, because there's no flexibility, people are opting out of the workforce versus deciding to look at freelance or project-based work as an opportunity. So we at Flexing It have a vision and a mandate also to get a lot more women in India to know that this exists as an option, so that instead of deciding to stay away from working, they can make work for them.
Lovely, I think.
And I think we have a little more data on, the types of projects. We see all kinds of companies wanting to hire gig workers, whether it's consulting firms, large corporates, startups. And there's a fair amount of flexibility in the projects as well that we see. It could be literally a few days of work if it's a very short targeted piece, all the way up to more strategic projects that are 6 months, where you're generally getting on board the freelancer to work with you on a transformation, a new entry strategy, a new organization structuring, whatever the issue might be. And again, I think there's no one size fits all. A lot of gig work can be on site as well as remote. So it really depends on what the project needs are and what the clients, what the consultants' preferences are. So it generally does provide a fair amount of flexibility to to individuals. And I think I did speak about Flexing It, but just as so we, as I mentioned, are a curated platform. We work with over 2,000 clients around the world, which are some of the world's largest consulting firms, some of the world's largest corporates like Unilever and Pfizer, and help them find consultants. We also have a lot of international clients because a lot of gig work happens remotely. So we are bringing India's talent to the world, in effect, through that. And the choice we made was to use technology a lot, because that was the best way for us to scale. So, so we built up an end-to-end platform that, matches the right projects to the right consultants,